Okay, so hello people. So today we'll be solving LeetCode daily question 1074. That is number of submatrices that sum to the target. And in this we'll be given a matrix and a target, and we have to return the number of non-empty submatrices that sum to the target. Okay, and a submatrix is defined as x1, y1, x2, y2. These are the coordinates, and is the set of cells matrix of xy with x1 less than or equal to x or less than or equal to x2 and y1 less than or equal to y and less than equal to y2. Okay, and two matrices x1 y1 x2 y2 and x1 dash y1 dash x2 dash y2 dash are different if they have same coordinate. That is, for example, if x1 is not equal to x1 dash, for example. And this, firstly, let me explain what the submatrix is. This is a submatrix only 0, 0, 1 is a completely a submatrix. 0, 1, 1, this here is a submatrix. But if you say like we can pick up any other than, like, if we pick this 0 and this 0 and we just ignore this one, this is will be not a submatrix. Okay, so we'll be given a target. Let's say in this case we are given 0, so we have to return the total number of submatrix that return does the target as 0. Okay, whose sum is 0. So in this case we will be only having these four blocks that will sum to 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, because in other case we are having 1, so that there is no way that we can form a target of 0. Okay, so the answer is 4. Okay, so before starting with this question we'll be using the approach of prefix sum, and I would really like that you should solve this problem first. Subarray sum equals k. In this the trick is same. We'll be given instead of sum matrix we have to find the return the total number of sub arrays. Okay, so this can be easily done by sliding window, and it would be really great if you do this first, then you approach towards the today's question. And okay, so now let's start with this question, and we'll be using the same approach that we'll be using subarray sum equals k, and we'll be forming the prefix sum for every two pair of rows, and then we'll be checking that if there is the possibility of calculating the subarray, the sum matrix with the given sum. Okay, because in that case only will be possible, like for example, let me explain. In this case if we'll be passing 0, 1, 0, so in this if we are given, let's say this, let's consider it as a subarray, and we have to return the number of subarrays whose sum equal to 0. Okay, so in this case we'll be having 0, 1, 0, and there will be only two subarrays whose sum will be equal to 0. Then in the next case we'll be adding these values like 0, 1, and where this matrix will become 1 to 1, and there's no way that we can form the subarray sum of with the target 0. Okay, so this is how we'll be approaching towards the question. And now let's start with the question, and let's declare the count variable because we have to return the count after all. And then let's start for int I equal to 0, I less than matrix dot length and I plus plus. And now what we do, let's just okay, sorry, my mistake. We need to add these things for two consecutive columns. By mistake I said I guess two consecutive rows. We need to sum up two consecutive columns. Okay, so let's have a sum array that will be equal to new int of the length of the columns, matrix 0 dot length and then let's run a for loop that for int j equal to 0, j less than matrix dot length j plus plus and then let's run a for loop again for the k, because we'll be calculating the sum through this loop, that for int k equal to 0 and k less than matrix 0 dot length and then k plus plus. Oh, okay, sorry, here I made a mistake. Here it should be j equal to I. Okay, so in the kth index of the sum we will be storing sum k equal to matrix j k. Okay, so in this way we'll be storing a sum, and after this for loop we'll be calling the function and we'll be increasing the count will be equal to, let's, because in this sum it will form a subarray eventually. Okay, so subarray, let's call the function subarray array sum Okay, so let's call this function subarray sum, and with the array sum and column and the target value given. Okay, so and let's at the end we have to just return count. So now let's write this function that will be private and it will be returning us integer value, subarray. Okay, yeah, here it should be single y. Yeah, subarray sum with the integer nums, let's call it, and the given value k. Okay, so you can use this. Okay, I'll show you one more thing, that we can just simply copy this function and paste into the other question that I told you, subarray sum equals k, and this will work there also. Okay, so let's have a variable count again equal to 0 and sum equal to 0. Okay, so now we'll be using a hash map because I told you that we'll be needing a sliding window approach for this. Integer comma integer, and let's call it window, that will be equal to new int of size. Okay, sorry, a new hash map. Okay, so now what we'll do, let's start the for loop that for int I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length I plus plus, and in the sum we'll be putting the nums I, sum plus equal to nums I, and we'll be checking that if my sum is equal to k, I'll be increasing my count plus plus, and I'll be checking that if my map is containing the key, that if my window dot contains key, that will be my k minus sum minus k. So that means we can also form a subarray from that, and we'll be increasing the count with that. Okay, so count will be equal to window dot get sum minus k. Okay, so and then we'll be just updating the window, that window dot put sum sum comma map window dot get or default sum comma 0 plus 1. Okay, and at the end we'll be just simply returning count. Okay, so now let's run it, and it works perfectly fine. Okay, so now let's submit it, and it gets accepted. Okay, so this was not just video. Now I'll show you that how we'll be using the same question for solving this also, subarray sum equals k. And let's start with the question that we'll be initializing a count, our sum will be equal to 0, then we'll be traversing the loop for in the array, that will be sorry, first let's have a hash map 2, that map of integer comma integer, let's call it window, that will be equal to new hash map. Okay, so now let's start traversing the array, that for int I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length I plus plus, and in this let's first add this to sum variable, and then and if we'll be checking that if my sum is equal to k, I'll be increasing my count plus plus, and then I'll be checking that if window dot contains key, that will be sum minus k. I'll be adding this also to the answer, that count plus equal to window dot get sum minus k. Okay, and I'll be then putting the current sum into the window, that window dot put sum comma window dot get sum comma 0 plus 1. Okay, sorry, here it should be get or default, okay, so and at the end let's just return count. Okay, so now let's run it once again, and it gets accepted. So now let's submit it, and it works perfectly fine. Okay, so this was it for today. Thank you for watching.